All right, so just kind of taking a break from the Rambler, switching gears a little bit because it's such a nice day out here. It's in the 70s, really nice. So I'm gonna, a guy can't just have one project. Real guys have lots of projects, unfinished ones. If you're one of those guys that just stays on one project until it's done, well, too bad for you. You're missing all the fun. So what we got here is a little item that I picked up a couple months ago. I actually been trying to buy this truck for about 3 years. And finally, it was a weird how it happened because so my aunt and uncle live about 3.5 hours from here, and I would go down. They're in their 80s, own a big farm, big cattle farm, do a lot of hay. So every May I would go down there and spend 3 or 4 days helping them get the hay cut, raked, and baled, basically. Well, on the way to their house, close to where they live, I would pass this old wrecker, which I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I grew up in a junkyard and I'm kind of got a thing for wreckers. So I stopped in there and I left a note on a car that was parked near it. It looked like somebody had, where this truck was parked at, it looked like somebody parked their vehicle there to get in the work truck or whatever, and which was the case. But I left a note on the car and nobody ever called. So the next year, which was 2 years ago, I stopped in there. There's a little thrift store next door to it, and asked the people in there if they knew who owned it. And they said they didn't know. All they said they knew it was the milkman. Man drove the milk truck. So I tried to get a hold of the city to find out who owned the property, and I did. I found out who owned the I found out the guy's name that owned the property, and I asked the mayor of the town if they could get me in touch with him, and they said yeah. And the mayor actually said he could get me that truck. And I said, well, how can you do that? He said it's an eyesore sitting there and we want it cleaned up, so we can just put a lien on it and take it and give it to you, or sell it to you, or make him sell it to you. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I just won't get it. I'll forget about it. So this year, just a couple of months ago, a buddy of mine who sends me all kinds of marketplace ads of cool trucks and cars and things like that for sale. He knows I like old stuff. Look at this wrecker. I was like, oh wow, that's the same wrecker I looked at 3 years ago, tried to buy it, and it's for sale. So I called the guy and got in touch with him, went down there and bought the thing. My wife and I went down. We spent a little bit getting it running. It didn't run really good, but it ran good enough to get on the trailer, had no brakes on it. So we got on the trailer and brought it back home, 3.5 hours, and got it here, got it unloaded. I did something stupid and ran something through the radiator. So I had to have the radiator record, and I had to straighten the fan. And so I did that. And today, since it's such a nice day, I'm thinking I'm going to pull it around there and put the radiator in it. So without further ado, here is my wrecker. It's a 71 F350. This wrecker actually was in use. The man I bought it from is the son of the man who used it for his income. And I just love this thing. The bed is actually, I believe, from the 50s, because we had a 55 Ford road tractor wrecker on our farm back in the 70s and 80s, on our junkyard, basically. Farm, it was a farm slash junkyard. and it had a similar looking bed on it. That's not a homemade bed, that's a factory bed, or a manufactured bed from a company who made them. And it works. The winch works. There's the winch. And I checked it. The sling went up and down on it. Clutch on the winch works and everything. It's got the dollies in it. Really cool piece. Really cool. But since I got it home, I've stuck some good gas in it and some pavement in the tank, and had it running a couple of times, and it's actually running a whole lot better now. So what I'm going to do is get in this thing fired up, just pull it around the other side of the shop and park it there where I can work on it and put this radiator in it. All right. Said I got no brakes on this thing, so I had to pull around the corner here and shut it off so I don't run into the front of my Excursion there. All right, we're here. Long trip. Okay, so we're gonna open this up and see what it looks like. I know what it looks like, but you don't know what it looks like. If I can find it. There we go. Here you've got your standard Ford FE 360, and this is where the radiator goes. So you already knew that. So here's my bolts. Let me walk in here and get my little electric ratchet and a socket, and we'll pop this radiator back in. I find out what it costs nowadays to have one of these record. I realize this thing's like a piece of gold. antifreeze. You know how you make antifreeze? Hide or nightgown. Got a special storage facility for my antifreeze. It holds down my weight bench. Alright, so this is concentrated antifreeze. So you want to put the same amount of water in as antifreeze. This is about a little less than a half a gallon. We'll put that in and we'll fill that with water. I didn't even miss that. And it came out the overflow tube. Now they have games that can play at a lot of these car shows and stuff I go to. And when I was looking at one of my old books, it showed that one of the games they used to play, you could step up there and you could try to, it was the antifreeze pour. See if you could pour it in a hole without spilling any. Another one was you could stand on a ladder and try to drop a push rod through a hole the size that it goes in. It's good, clean fun. I don't know how much came out of this whenever I tore this radiator up, but it looked like 50 gallons. It looks like that when it's on the ground, but it probably was only about 2 or 3. I'm gonna fill these jugs with water. But I need to walk more. I'm a little of a portly guy, in case you couldn't tell. I've been working on that. You don't have a good, at least a 50-50 mixture on your antifreeze, it won't have a sufficient anti-freezing temperature. 50-50 will get you to about 40 below zero. Alright, so I've put 3 gallons in all together. Gallon and a half antifreeze, gallon and a half water. Now, we'll start it up and let it heat cycle a couple times. Pump that through the system. Let it run, warm up. Put the thermostat open on it. It'll open. I hope it's stuck. I hope it's stuck open. That opened up and it pulled some antifreeze down. So that's good. That's working. Or half gallon of antifreeze in. Fill your top radiator hose That's how you can tell the thermostat open after it's running a little bit. It'll be cold and then it'll get hot. That means the thermostat open because the radiator pulls from the bottom. The water pump pulls the antifreeze from the bottom, circulates through the block, pushes it back out through the intake manifold, circulates through the radiator, keeps the process going. Over time, the fan's pulling air through the radiator. Like you might need a carburetor adjustment. Two things that you need to run, or three things. You need air, fuel, and ignition spark. So, do a little carburetor adjustment, tool. Make sure the needle valve is working right. We'll call that good, and I'll try to work on the coil now. Stay tuned.